Hey friends, in the Destiny YouTube scene, if you ever see that something in the title or thumbnail is called or claimed to be the best, you're kind of skeptical, right? Some alarm bells are ringing. But when I say that, I really do mean that Relentless might be the best primary weapon for traditional FPS play in Destiny. And I want to make that distinction. A lot of times people say the best, but they don't really mean the best. They mean like the best for solo play, the best bang for your buck, but they don't actually mean the absolute best. In this case, I think it's the best traditional FPS as opposed to unorthodox. Unorthodox meaning like if you fly around with Final Warning on Top Tree Dawnblade, it's probably going to be better than this pulse rifle. That being said, though, for like traditional FPS gunfights and team fights, I think this might be the best pulse rifle, best weapon in the game. And the reason is because they enabled Slice to work now in PvP. And what that does is it severs, which makes your opponent hit for 10% less damage. Then the origin trait, as I get to the bottom of the magazine, it gives me a 3% bonus damage, which makes a difference with Headseeker on certain resiliences, and I could stack that up even more if I went for a Surge. So with all that being said, let's very quickly go through today's build, then I'll hit you with some gameplay, then I'll hit you with an alternate build that I thought would tank fusion rifles, but ended up being kind of okay. The gameplay shows a lot of backstabs. Let's move on. First of all, why Manticore? Because I'm playing on console right now. I'm kind of maining console in the short term, maybe the medium term, and console players don't look up. So Manticore is very fun, very good, and I think competitive in this sandbox. Moving on, Graviton Forfeit. Why Graviton Forfeit? Because I need to hit 4 Resilience. I need to hit 4 Resilience to cancel Bygones, so they can't raw 2-verse to me, which means I need to give up stats somewhere else. I'm not going to give up stats in mobility because that's my invis dodge, so I have to give up stats in recovery. Hence the Graviton Forfeit. When I'm invis, my recovery stat goes from whatever it is to 9.5. That's pretty good. Since I'm using Graviton anyway, I go for 10 strength, so that when I'm invis, my melee recharges faster, which allows me to use Marksman dodge instead of Gambler's dodge to get the fastest dodge possible. The next best build I could think of is you just go 10 for 10 with probably stat boosting mods on 6 Coyote. In this case, I'm forgoing the stat boosting mods to go for stat minus mods to get Starvation for Devour, so I can have my grenade up more often and recover health and Revenge perk, and then Vigilance, so I get an overshield after I get a kill when I'm critically wounded. And if my opponents shoot back, that's pretty much every time. Running Suppressor so I don't die to supers as much, and then Tether because it's the fastest super, and I always feel like it's fun to get better with it. I'm using Trapper's Ambush to slam invis, and then a very cool interaction here is Graviton makes your invis longer and it stacks with persistence. So if I slam invis, it is a very long timer, and if I wait until the last possible second and then dodge, I get the long timer again. So that's this build in a nutshell. Strand Dexterity to switch to my Manticore faster, heavy-handed, so that when I use Manticore and float, I can slam onto him to get Devour. Mixed Unflinchings, and then I could run a Surge, but I just want more cooldown, and that's the build today. So yeah, I am not joking with y'all when I say this is the best weapon in the sandbox right now, especially on console. You can farm it this week in Prophecy. I'll quickly run through how I do it. I'll just like Fire Team Finder. I'll grab 2 people. I'll reset the checkpoint. I'll load in. My kill loadout is not very complicated. You don't need Stompies to make any of these jumps, by the way. Grapple Ascension makes it very easy. I use Skimmer. We're just going to go through this in one take. You'll see the gameplay here very shortly. Didn't even have time to take a drink. Oh, you definitely don't want Blink though. Okay, so climb up this. Well, you gotta hold the jump button. Maybe I soared otherwise. So then we grapple up top, switch to Skimmer. We tap the left trigger to sort of boost up there, and then we can use Ascension at the top, if not the triple jump. Then we fly over here. Then if you're in LFG, you can start the encounter and then instantly wipe. And it sort of gives the indication that you want to use a rally flag, and that does help your teammates live. So I find wiping here saves a little bit of time, even though if you had a really competent group, you could just immediately start it. Then you start the encounter, and the last thing you need to know is that you can... The mechanic is, you kill the knights. If you're standing in the shadow and kill a knight, it drops dark motes. Collect 5 dark motes and you get a dark triangle, and you can slam the dark triangle on this to get rid of that. However, if you slam very, very high in between both of them, it gets rid of both of the dark objects. So that is how you speedrun this. You can watch a formal guide, but this was just my very, very quick one. And maybe, if you're lucky, you too can get a Relentless pulse rifle with Slice. Now, the reason I revisited this is because I was supposed to be able to get Slice Desperado, and I ended up just calling it quits early with Headseeker, and I ended up a day and a half later putting 654 kills on it, which means it's pretty damn good. And if I had to go back for Desperado, I might, but it's very unlikely I land Fluted Barrel in a range masterwork again with ricochet rounds, so I might just call it here. But for my specific playstyle, I do think I would value Desperado more, but I'm kind of coping because there's a lot of hunters on console, and Headseeker, it does come up on occasion. Okay friends, enjoy the gameplay. I will see you in the next one. Okay, 2 mongooses in a row to get a match relic, but here we are, 500 kills in. Slice if I dodge, and then shoot the opponent. Apply Sever. That is a 10% damage output reduction on the opponent. So I survive their 2 burst. Relentless is a high impact frame, so it 2 burst at 0.67. It's lightning. I heard the invis. I'm gonna do it myself. I got so lucky that that fusion missed. I just get my reloads in. I'm gonna pop on radar in a sec, so I gotta be very careful. Break that from the hip to keep the radar open. Work towards my Devour Orb. I got ricochets. I'm pretty far away from an invis dodge. So I'm gonna regroup with my team. Should be some enemies. Very nice. Slice works in the backpack, by the way. Hold this so I can cover both angles. Just a slight flick to the right if I need to. Does that have Rico's too? Ten bullets. He can't chase me in time, I don't think. I'm gonna fit the reloads in. Let my teammates help me out. I'm about to have my dodge. Oh, of course, it's a special weapon. Oh, that was a relic. Same thing, though. Effectively do the same thing. I was managing my ones pretty decently there. I just needed to delete the grenade launcher hunter. Let's wait 2 seconds while physically watching the left. Can't walk out in the open. This is the most common spot to be, so I have to crouch it. I'm gonna flank now that I got him weak because I know he has to stay behind cover. The right is where I'm concerned with. Make sure the guy behind me doesn't have line of sight. I can dodge again for my reload in a sec. 3% damage bonus from Origin trait. Beautiful 2 burst. almost like 4v4 plays better. And I'll put these tracers down, maybe get some chip damage for free from ricochets. Slam down for 3p. Dodge just because I anticipated an opponent looking at me. Right here. Keep slicing him, throw it far. Oh, what a dunk. That was beautiful. Still got extra damage, can slice him to win. Jump over this line of sight. It's not worth flanking. I'm not going to make it there in time, but I'll chow this with a dodge. Break the aim assist. Close off that angle to the right. I'm going to dodge backwards and to the right as soon as they peek. Come on, teammates. Don't body block this. Even worse. But that was the dodge I was looking for. Almost made it to my orb. It wouldn't have mattered, though, because they had two. This is how you have to think on console, by the way. Because you can't just like do mouse and keyboard 360s. Probably not even worth shooting that yet. I just let it dissipate over time. Now we move away from teammate as he runs away. Should be able to kill the spawners. Look at where teammate's shooting. Look at those tracers. Crouch while I cover the left. So I can cut off their angle as I open up another one. Tracers, ricochets, free shots while I dump down to a damage bonus. I have a dodge to get out of here if I need it. I thought that was a fusion rifle, but it was a chroma rush. I'm going to slam on top of them with mana core if I have to. Let's work towards cover. Sometimes on console you have to choose between aiming and getting in cover. Almost have my dodge. Switch position soon. Common angle. Oh, nice tether. I can't do anything about that though, so I'm gonna switch sides of the map. I should catch him spawning at house in a moment. Might as well just take this now. They're gonna be looking at my teammates for sure, but I should be able to find something here, especially with that orb on the floor. I can grab it through a powerful attraction soon, so I can take this risk. Nice rocket play. I'm going to dodge as soon as I shoot this burst. Extra damage. He had a headshot on Polaris. It mattered. That crouch right there gave me the opportunity to maybe SMG him, but there was too many opponents. Might have been a good choice to instant tether him, direct impact. Beautiful. They're going to be spawning up thirsty for this kill, so I want to be as close to cover as I can when they're running out of spawn. I want to catch them in sprint. That quick radar read. I know they're in the common spot now from that auto rifle sound. Unfortunate. I thought he would be a little more aggressive with that, but I burned my tether. I didn't have to. I could have kept running. Now I have to maybe get a devour to build my suppressor up for the next supers. Just assume somebody was going to be peeking by now. Good slam. It mattered. What kind of super? He's still active, so I'm going to go invis. Of course, teammate spawns on me right when I go invis, which is kind of shitty. Closing at the right so I can fight the left. I'm not shooting because the tracer gives me away. And then the opponent would just run at me. Big damage. Gotta watch my back here. That was a bad peek because I was exposed to this angle. I can smoke him in a sec. I just need to get my health back to justify it. Keep moving. They won the power. I'm gonna die to a fucking bird if I stand out there. They grab rockets, stay away from walls. I gotta fucking hustle to not die to power ammo. Okay, I don't want to be pinched here. Come on, teammate. Draw him out. They usually jump. Go off radar with the crouch. Got the buy. Let's put a smoke behind the obvious cover. High impact reserves incoming. Shredded a scout rifle, feels good. Alright, super's coming up. I don't have a dodge, I'm out. Not for slice, but for literally breaking aim assist. Funny enough, we're on equal footing, even though he did more damage. Still a burst away. That was such a sick shot, not gonna lie. I thought he was on a wave frame. Good Hungary shot. I don't think there was a right move there. I was too low health. Oh, you don't know how bad I wanted him to face plant in the cheese from a well-timed suppressor. Okay, so that was a really, really good match, showing off the power of slice. So I tried an alternate loadout with this pulse rifle with the sole intent of messing up fusion rifles by using Spirit of Renewal to get frost armor, slice to reduce the fusion rifle's damage, and then after a kill, woven mail to make them do even less damage. Now that's a lot of things that have to go right, and you're correct. In practice, it did not go that way. However, this is still an awesome build because it has something that's pretty generally good, you know, getting armor off of dust fields, and then Spirit of the Liar. So that way if you're in the dust field and someone punches you, you just auto win. And a lot of the times you can blink straight at a Titan and they won't even shotgun you. They just punch you and you respond with your own punch and you just win. And because of Spirit of the Liar, it makes an orb, and an orb equals woven mail. So this build has a lot of moves. And by the way, let me take Ascension off of this because it doesn't proc slice. It's still very useful with blink, but I don't think it's worth my gambler's dodge. If I ran like double marksman's dodge or something like that, I could see myself going Ascension. But for now, I tried some alternate build to make use of slice and have an infinite ammo fusion rifle, and it didn't go as planned. So that gameplay is not going to be featured, but know that I'm trying to cook up some anti-fusion rifle setup in the background, and it's not going well. Fusion rifles are really, really strong.